Ellie thinks sitting at home clicking away at her computer makes her successful. She couldn't handle a real office environment, and now she's just hiding behind that screen like a pathetic failure. My heart sank like a stone as I watched my phone screen. There sat my mother at our family dining table, wine glass in hand, completely oblivious to being captured on video. My stomach knotted with each word she spoke. My cousin Cassie had texted an hour ago, "You need to see this." I'm so sorry. She'd sent a recording of their video chat during the family gathering. I was preparing for tomorrow's IT conference presentation in my home office when the message arrived, jolting me from my concentration. I'm Eleanor Martinez, 45 years old, and for 3 years I've been quietly handling my mother's medical expenses since her rheumatoid arthritis diagnosis. I've been coordinating her appointments, fighting with insurance companies, and paying for her medications, all while balancing my remote systems engineering job. No one at that dinner knew I drained my children's college fund last year when her insurance denied coverage for a specialized treatment. "It's embarrassing," my mother said, clearly relishing the attention from everyone. All her talk about career advancement, but she's just typing away in pajamas while real professionals go to actual offices. She chuckled, and my blood boiled hearing my brother Daniel laughing with her. Cassie ended the recording there, but those seconds felt like hours. I sat frozen at my desk, tears burning down my cheeks as the painful truth hit me like a physical blow. For years, I'd convinced myself that Mom's harsh words were just her pain speaking, or her misguided way of pushing me. But this wasn't a momentary slip. This was her genuine opinion, now captured forever. My phone buzzed again. "Cassie, I'm so sorry you had to see that. I didn't realize what was happening until it was too late. Should I delete the recording?" I stared at her message, my fingers trembling slightly. "No," I replied. "Keep it. I need to show you something tomorrow in person." I called Rob immediately, my voice breaking as I explained what I'd seen. "I can't believe she said those things while Daniel just sat there nodding," I whispered. "Come home," he said firmly. "You are going to end cohabitation with your mother. Your health is more important." My husband's support unleashed a fresh wave of tears, not from pain this time, but relief. I wasn't alone in this. 3 years ago, my life looked completely different. I was respected at work, the kids were becoming independent, and I had finally started focusing on my own goals again. Then came that devastating call. I received a message from my mother saying, "I feel very fatigued every day and can't get up in the morning. I've been having days where it takes me a long time to get ready." Recently, it seems she's been taking days off work as well. "It's unfair," she cried in her bed at home. "How am I supposed to get through this? I have insurance, but I hardly have any savings." I squeezed her hand reassuringly. "We'll figure it out together, Mom." After Dad died, Mom and I had always relied on each other. Despite her critical nature, I believed our bond was unbreakable. Within weeks, I convinced my boss Nathan to let me work remotely. I decided to live with my mother to care for her. I coordinated her care between meetings, adjusted medication schedules around deadlines, and spent evenings researching treatment options. However, I received no words of gratitude from my mother. Instead, she was constantly criticizing me. "The food you make is too salty. Can't you clean more often?" Those words contributed to countless exhausting days and sleepless nights. Yet, somewhere in my heart, I hoped she felt some gratitude towards me. After hanging up the phone, I sat still for a while. Mom thought I was still preparing for tomorrow's presentation, an important opportunity I'd now have to miss after seeing that video. My phone lit up with a text from Cassie. "I'm at Pioneer Coffee on Jefferson. Let me know when you can meet." I exhaled slowly, trying to calm my racing heart. Reaching into my laptop bag, I pulled out a thick folder labeled Mom's medical records. Inside was every payment I'd made over the past 3 years: insurance premiums, medication receipts, specialist referrals, all meticulously organized with bank statements. I'd maintained these records for tax purposes, never imagining they'd become evidence of such profound betrayal. I clutched the folder to my chest, took a deep breath that did little to ease the knot in my stomach, and texted Cassie, "Be there in 15 minutes." The cafe buzzed with afternoon energy, but I spotted Cassie instantly. "Ellie, I'm so sorry," she said as I slid into the seat across from her. "I had no idea they'd start talking about you. I was just filming our family gathering for my social dynamics project, and suddenly Aunt Diane started criticizing you, and then your brother joined in, and it got so ugly." "It's not your fault," I cut in, my voice calmer than I thought it'd be. "Honestly, I should be thanking you." Cassie tilted her head, confusion evident in her eyes. "Thank me? For what?" I placed the medical folder on the table between us and carefully opened it, revealing 3 years of payment records, appointment calendars, and insurance battles. "For showing me the truth," I said quietly. "I've been handling everything: her medications, treatments, insurance appeals, doctor appointments, everything." Cassie's eyes widened as she leafed through the documents. "This is so much money." "Actually, more than $45,000. I confirmed, my finger tracing along a particularly expensive treatment row. "I've put my career advancement on hold, drained my kids' college funds, even postponed the kitchen renovation Rob and I had been saving for. Everything went to her care because I thought she needed me." Cassie looked up, her academic detachment giving way to raw indignation. "And she sits there calling you a failure while Daniel does absolutely nothing? That's beyond messed up." I nodded, surprised by the strange calm I felt. I always thought her criticism was just her way of pushing me to do better, that deep down she valued my sacrifice. A hollow laugh escaped my lips. I was clearly wrong. "What will you do now?" Cassie asked softly. I reclaimed the folder, my resolve strengthening with each passing moment. "I'm done. I've already started the paperwork to remove myself as her financial guarantor." "You're not going to confront her directly?" I shook my head. What would that accomplish? She'd just deny everything or say I'm being oversensitive. I opened my banking app on my phone, hands trembling slightly with resolve rather than doubt. I'd been setting aside a small portion from each paycheck, hoping to eventually fund the system architecture certification that would qualify me for promotion. Now I knew exactly how to use it. With a few taps, I transferred the money I'd earmarked for Mom's next treatment series into my professional development account. The gesture was simple, but it felt like breaking free from invisible chains. "Wow," Cassie exhaled, watching me. "You're actually going through with this?" "I've never been more certain about anything," I answered, my voice surprisingly strong despite the emotions swirling inside me. I've spent 3 years being her personal nurse, financial planner, and emotional punching bag, while she and Daniel trivialize everything I sacrifice. That stops now. I showed Cassie the email from Nathan about the senior systems architect position opening, the one I'd almost declined because of Mom's upcoming treatment schedule. "The interview is next week," I told her. "And I'm not missing this opportunity again." Cassie squeezed my hand, her eyes reflecting both concern and admiration. I'll save the full recording and transcribe the important parts, just in case you need evidence later. As we said goodbye, I felt years of accumulated resentment beginning to lift from my shoulders. After so long, I was finally prioritizing myself. The guilt I'd anticipated feeling was mysteriously absent, replaced by a profound sense of clarity and rightness that had been missing for years. The insurance representative sounded puzzled when I called. "You want to remove yourself as guarantor on Diane Martinez's accounts? May I ask why, Mrs. Martinez?" "Personal reasons," I replied, my voice steady and resolute. "I won't be covering any payments after this billing cycle." It was the third day of my new path forward. The weekend had been a whirlwind of productivity, contacting insurance companies, updating payment information, and drafting explanatory emails. Our dining table had disappeared beneath stacks of paperwork as I methodically unwound the financial support system I'd built around my mother. "Mrs. Martinez," the representative continued carefully, "I should inform you that without your financial support, your mother's premiums will increase significantly, and her coverage options may become more limited." "I understand completely," I replied. "Please send a formal letter detailing these changes to her residence. I want to ensure she's fully informed of the transition." I knew exactly what I was doing. The letter would arrive next week, giving me time to implement the rest of my plan before the inevitable confrontation. My phone had been constantly buzzing with notifications from my mother since yesterday. She had no idea what changes I was making, but she'd expected me to drive her to a specialist appointment this morning. I hadn't shown up. "Where are you? I've been sitting here ready for an hour." "The clinic called saying there's an issue with my insurance. Fix it now." "Are you deliberately ignoring me? Answer your phone, Eleanor." Each message hardened my determination. I muted my phone and focused on my work with renewed intensity. By evening, I had completed most financial separations and moved to the next step. With my heart pounding, I drafted a carefully worded email to our entire family. "Dear family, after much consideration, I will no longer manage Mom's medical care or financial support. For 3 years, I've covered all expenses related to her condition, totaling a lot of money, including insurance premiums, medications, specialist appointments, and numerous treatments. While this decision wasn't made lightly, I wanted everyone informed, as Mom will need assistance moving forward. I've attached a detailed breakdown of the support I've provided, should anyone wish to contribute. With hope for understanding. Ellie and Rob." I attached my meticulously organized spreadsheet documenting every payment, appointment, and hour spent managing her care. The evidence was undeniable. Cassie had sent the full video recording as promised. My stomach twisted watching it again, but I saved multiple copies on my laptop, cloud storage, and an external drive. Though I had no immediate plans for it, something told me I might need it later. The doorbell's sudden ring made me jump. Through the peephole, I saw Mom's face contorted with rage, sending a cold shock through my body. "Eleanor, I know you're in there. Open this door immediately." Her shadow paced beneath the doorframe as I stood frozen inside. "You've ignored my calls. The pharmacy rejected my prescription. What have you done?" I took a deep breath that did nothing to calm my racing heart. "I'm not doing this anymore, Mom. The insurance company will contact you soon." I read their letter carefully. "What are you talking about? Open this door now." "No, That single word felt like breaking free from invisible chains. I heard what you really think of me. It's time we both moved forward separately. After a moment of stunned silence, she exploded. Is this about money? After everything I've done for you? I almost laughed at the bitter irony. Goodbye, Mom. Please don't come back. As her furious protests grew louder, I walked away from the door, returning to my laptop with each step feeling lighter. It was as if I was finally shedding a burden that had been crushing me for years. The reaction came swiftly. Within hours of sending my email, my phone exploded with notifications that made my stomach clench. Aunt Teresa was shocked and heartbroken by my cruel abandonment. Uncle Victor suggested I was having a selfish midlife crisis. My cousin Stephanie implied I should resolve whatever trivial misunderstanding had occurred. I blocked Mom's number first, then methodically muted the relatives who condemned me without asking for my perspective. The silence that followed felt like a warm embrace. 3 days later, I sat nervously in my boss Nathan's office, discussing the senior architect position I'd been avoiding for months. You've been working remotely for quite some time, Ellie, Nathan said, reviewing my file with a thoughtful expression. But your performance metrics are exceptional. You'll need to come into the office 3 days a week and complete the advanced cloud certification. I understand, I replied, feeling a flutter of excitement I hadn't experienced in years. I've already started studying for the certification exam. Walking through the office afterward, I felt a sense of belonging I'd almost forgotten. This was where I belonged, pursuing my professional passions instead of sacrificing everything for someone who couldn't appreciate it. My work schedule would need adjusting, but I'd already begun planning. I'd structure my in-office days efficiently, delegate routine tasks, and establish clear boundaries between work and personal time. My income would temporarily plateau during the transition, but without Mom's expenses, I could easily manage. When I arrived home, a formal envelope waited in our mailbox. Inside was a letter from the insurance company sent to my address. It outlined the changes to my mother's coverage and the substantial premium increase now that I was no longer her guarantor. I should have felt guilty. Instead, I felt profoundly validated. My phone rang. It's Cassie. Have you seen what's happening in the family text thread? She asked immediately. I left all those groups, I confessed. What's going on? Your mom is telling everyone you've had some kind of breakdown. She's claiming you're under tremendous stress from failing at work, and that's why you're acting irrationally. I could hear the indignation in Cassie's voice. She's completely twisting the narrative. I sighed, unsurprised. Classic deflection. That's not all, Cassie continued. She convinced Uncle Victor to let her move in temporarily until she sorts out her medical situation. Her voice dripped with frustration. Of course she has. Daniel does not have the financial means to take care of her. She has no choice but to rely on someone else, I said, my stomach nodding as I shook my head. Mom's always been good at finding someone to rescue her. It's like watching a master manipulator at work. The insurance letter sat on my counter, a reminder of the changes I'd set in motion. After a moment's consideration, I addressed a new envelope to my mother's actual residence, placed the letter inside, and added a short note. This was sent to my address by mistake. I suggest you read it carefully. No signature, no emotion, just facts. As I slipped the envelope into the mailbox, I felt another piece of my burden lift away. The consequences of her actions were now hers to bear, not mine. 2 weeks passed in relative calm. I threw myself into preparations for the executive presentation, working diligently during every spare moment between system maintenance and client meetings. The big meeting was scheduled for Friday, and I felt a growing confidence with each practice run. Then came the ambush. I was just finishing a conference call in my Seattle office when I spotted them through the glass doors, my mother and my brother Daniel waiting in the reception area. My first instinct was to escape through the back exit, but they had clearly seen me. Running would only postpone the inevitable. My heart raced as I took a deep breath and stepped out to meet them. "Eleanor," my mother said, her voice sickly sweet as honey laced with poison. "We need to talk." Up close, I could see the strain on her face. Her hair was unstyled, and she leaned heavily on her cane, a prop she typically only used when she wanted to emphasize her condition. "I have nothing to say," I replied, gripping my keys so tightly my knuckles turned white. Daniel stepped forward. "Ellie, be reasonable. Mom's medication costs have tripled, and she can't get appointments with her specialists anymore. Is this what you wanted? To punish her?" "What I wanted," I said, my voice trembling with emotion, "was to be treated with basic respect and appreciation. What I wanted was recognition for 3 years of sacrifice. What I wanted was a mother who didn't call me incompetent behind my back while praising her son to the skies." My mother's face paled. "What are you talking about? I would never." "I saw the video, Mom. Cassie's recording from the family dinner. I heard everything you said about me. And you too, Daniel," I added, glaring at my brother. A flash of recognition crossed both their faces, quickly replaced by defensive anger. "You're twisting things out of context," my mother protested, her voice rising. "I was just venting a little frustration. Everyone does that." My mother switched tactics, her voice breaking as tears welled in her eyes. "I'm your mother, Eleanor. After everything I've done for you, how can you abandon me when I need you the most?" Something snapped inside me. 3 years of suppressed resentment boiled to the surface like a volcano I couldn't contain. "Everything you've done for me?" I echoed incredulously. "Let me tell you what I've done for you. I rearranged my entire career. I spent a lot of time and money on your care. I prepared special meals, managed every prescription, fought with insurance companies on your behalf, all while working full-time and caring for my own family. And in return, you mocked my profession behind my back and treated me like your personal assistant." My hands were shaking, but my voice remained steady. "I sent proof to everyone in the family, every payment, every appointment, every sacrifice. So don't stand there and act like I'm the villain in this story," she responded with. "I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is an extreme overreaction. I'm facing serious health complications." "I'm well aware," I replied, my voice cold and calm. At that moment, Uncle Victor appeared from behind. He let my mother and brother out of the car first, and then came over after parking. "Mom." I spoke so that Uncle Victor could hear me. "I supported you for 3 years. I did everything I could for you, and in return, you called me incompetent behind my back." Uncle Victor frowned, confusion crossing his face. "What are you talking about, Ellie?" "The video, Uncle Victor. The recording Cassie made during our family dinner a few months ago. Mom and Daniel didn't tell you about that?" My mother's face paled, while Daniel suddenly looked intently interested in his phone. "That's completely irrelevant," my mother protested. "Ellie is twisting things out of context to justify her selfish behavior." I reached into my tote bag and pulled out the award. The glass caught the light, the engraving clearly visible, Leadership in Technology, Eleanor Martinez. I opened my laptop and displayed the saved spreadsheet. This is my work evaluation report, I told Uncle Victor. Over the past 3 years, while working remotely, I have maintained the highest productivity in the department. Uncle Victor stared at the screen, clearly impressed. Next, I took out the folder containing the bank records. And this is the record of the medical expenses I've paid for my mother's care over the past 3 years, I explained. All of these were paid from my bank account, without any help from Daniel. Uncle Victor's eyes widened as he carefully reviewed the records. "This is, Ellie. I had no idea," he said quietly. And finally, I said, taking out my phone to play a recording from Kathy. On the screen, my mother appeared, laughing while holding a wine glass. She's just sitting there typing on her computer, not doing any real work. If she was so competent, why hasn't she been promoted at work? It's probably because she's incompetent. Daniel's laughter echoed from the background. "Yeah, Mom. She always talks big but hasn't achieved anything in reality." I stopped the playback and looked at Uncle Victor's shocked expression. He hadn't been at that dinner party. "This is the expression of gratitude I received while sacrificing my daily expenses and time to take care of my mother," I said quietly. Understanding dawned on Uncle Victor's face. When I left the scene, I heard Uncle Victor speaking to my mother and brother in hushed, questioning tones. The family reckoning I'd been avoiding for months was finally happening, but this time, I wouldn't be the one fighting to be heard. 2 weeks later, Kathy reached out. "There's a drama unfolding at Uncle Victor's house," she said, almost in a whisper. "Your mom is going to leave there. It seems Aunt Victor has reached her limit with her attitude and constant demands." "Where will she go?" I asked. Normally, guilt and a sense of responsibility would have made me intervene immediately, but now I was just purely curious. "Daniel said he would take her in," Kathy replied. "I think that's a major miscalculation." The full weight of it became clear in the months that followed. Daniel, who did not have a steady job, had terrible financial management. Already struggling with flashy hobbies that were not in line with his income, he could not afford to pay for his mother's medical expenses. "It seems she canceled the insurance you've been paying for all those years." She signed up for the cheapest insurance available, but it hardly covers any treatments, Kathy reported a month later. Daniel has been shaking over her pharmacy bills. According to Kathy, fierce arguments between Daniel and his mother had become a daily occurrence. She's at Daniel's apartment, and she can't live like she used to, so she's arguing with Daniel every day. Daniel doesn't have any savings and can't do housework, so she seems to be struggling quite a bit. On top of that, her nerves are frayed from being hounded by payments, Kathy said. She seems to be building up credit card debt. 3 months passed, and one evening, I received an unexpected call from Daniel. "Ellie," he said, in an exhausted voice, "do you know of any good facilities for Mom?" "I can't do this anymore." "You didn't even last 5 months," I replied. "I managed for 3 years. I get it," he said, letting out a deep sigh. "You were right. This is overwhelming. She expresses no gratitude and demands everything. I can't take on any more debt." "How much credit card debt do you have?" I asked. "It's nearing $35,000, he answered in a low voice. "Most of it is her medical expenses. She insists on using the old, expensive medications and guilt trips me. I can't stand up to her." I could feel his frustration on the other end of the call. A meaningful silence flowed as he finally understood. "Daniel," I said gently, "you should seek help from a professional. Contact a social worker and discuss the services she may qualify for. I'll send you the list of senior support programs I found before." "Thank you," he said. There was real gratitude in his voice for the first time. I have to apologize to you. I didn't understand what you had done." After we hung up, I sat for a moment, my heart full as I reflected on how much had changed in less than a year. There will be no reconciliation with my mother in the future. It was simply due to my own character, which cannot take pleasure in others' misfortunes. I had finally stopped expecting validation from someone. Instead, I found it in my own accomplishments, in my team members who thrived under my guidance, in my children's proud smiles, and in my husband's unwavering support.